People who actually make decent money from a side hustle. What do you do and how did you get into it? I'm not sure if it counts as decent money, but here goes. I maintain a solar monitoring station. Get paid to show up, clean and document my steps, and rinse and repeat the next week. Thanks Craigslist. Babysitting. I hate it, but I'm great with kids. Responsible and have that nice girl look that parents dig. Once word gets around, parents are so effing desperate for responsible short notice childcare that they practically throw money at you. I usually do evenings, so basically read bedtime stories and spend the rest of the evening watching TV and sleeping on the couch, which means getting paid for what I usually do anyway, except the snacks are free. If you play guitar or any instrument and sing, nursing homes need entertainment and pay pretty well. Also, no drunks or late nights like some gigs. You can do it during the day. Just call around and someone will get you started. Is this a good hustle? I bet it's also heartwarming doing this kind of stuff. Yes, and the pay is pretty good for such a short time. I have a swimming pool cleaning / maintenance business on the side. This can net me $500 to $2,000 per month with just a few hours of work. The startup costs are minimal, less than $300. Watch a few YouTube vids on different pool types. Essentially most people who have pools are above average income and will see you charging them $60 for 30 minutes of work or less to be a deal, because they don't have to do it. I personally prefer the one-off calls to make a green pool blue again or to replace filter cartridges. That's an easy $250 to $400 for about 1.5 hours worth of work. My health won't allow me to do this 40 to 50 hours per week, so I maintain my nice office job and do this on the side for the money but also health benefits. This past weekend I visited a client who called about getting their pool ready for summer. It wasn't too bad, but needed a vacuum and chemicals. Went on a Friday, did about 35 minutes of work. Came back the next Friday after customer said they'd apply chemicals as instructed and found an azure pool. Took 20 minutes to vacuum and skim. Invoiced for $150 and they paid me via PayPal the same day. Bingo caller. It's Bar Bingo. I show up twice a week and read numbers into a microphone for about 2 hours. About $300 extra per month. Could be more if I worked the pull tab booth. I'm the official photographer for a non-profit and make anywhere from $150 to $300 a gig. Since the work is pretty low stress, it's pretty easy money. I also enjoy what the non-profit does and who they represent, which is a huge plus. Your work is like gold for the non-profit field. Nice, high quality pictures is such an enormous aspect of running successful fundraisers and raising awareness. Out of curiosity, how did you end up as the official photographer? Well, that's the title they gave me. I feel I'm not worthy of it, but they called me that when I started working with them and it stuck. I began working with them because I knew someone who worked there. They'd been looking for someone and my name was mentioned. Historical crafts. Basic blacksmithing, traditional woodworking, traditional pottery, basket weaving. People pay insane money for this shit, and you can do most of it on a lazy afternoon, and it is a great way to relax after a week at the office, staring at a screen. Just lately, I made a simple pottery kick wheel out of old pallet wood. A guy paid me so much for it, I went and bought an old Ford Mondeo with the money. You can basically name your price for that artisan shit and people will still buy it. I work for a dating website where I log into fake accounts and write to single guys to drive traffic to the site. They pay me 10 cents per message and I make approximately $200 to $1,000 per month doing this. That's a lot of messages per day. Is it copy and paste or do you have to send individual messages? I'm curious. Individual messages, but it's all automated for me. I can do around $50 to $80 per day easy if I write fast. Do you have to do follow-up messages as well? Or just the initial message and you're finished? I also get follow-up messages. If I don't feel like answering, someone else will get to reply. In college I worked for a market research company. Essentially you would call people and ask them how their experience was at various businesses. It was pretty easy, and I only had to work 8 to 12 hours a week during the evening. Averaged around $400 a month, which would be a nice little side hustle for someone looking to make some extra cash in the evening. I roast coffee. Started as a hobby for my daily caffeine intake and grew from there. Now I sell online and at the local farmers market. I play the bagpipes. I began learning to play when I was in my mid-30s, burnt out from a stressful job and looking for something that wasn't work related. I joined up with a local band and spent quite a bit of time just enjoying the music, camaraderie, and stress relief. After about a year I began joining the band for group performances, and a while after that they had me going out solo for weddings, funerals and so on. It's very hit or miss as there is not a huge demand for bagpipers in my area, Midwestern US, but a typical gig pays anywhere from $150 to $300 or more for a 30 to 60 minute event, where I'm actually playing 1 to 3 tunes. Then, once a year on St. Patrick's, I 3D print things for people on 3D hubs and sell 3D printed items on Etsy. Been making multiple grands a month so far this year, mostly from orders on 3D hubs. I got lucky though, because I got in before it was made more exclusive. It started as a hobby and now I have 5 3D printers. Which printers? CR10 and a couple of the larger variants. I'm pretty good with Excel, so I contract myself out when people need help running numbers or creating charts for a small business. I scored a large contract with a trucking company and built a system for logging their routes and calculating mileage for IFTA. There was a lot more involved with tax calculations, fuel logs, etc. I spent a year working out the kinks at an hourly wage, $, and now contract out for 1 to 2 days a month. It's an extra $5K a year to sit back and let it all work on its own. I've also booked performers for clubs/casinos. The commission for a couple of hours of work each week is between 10 to 20K a year, plus all expenses paid for my trips if a contract reaches a certain amount. This sounds interesting. I work with data a lot in SQL and Excel. Can I ask how you first got into it? I went through a temp agency and just let them know I had great Excel skills and accounting experience. From there they got me a contract for hourly work. After our contract period was up, I negotiated with the company and cut out the temp agency. There are lots of mom and pop businesses that need help. I do alterations. I'm actually a costumer, but hemming pants, fixing prom dresses, and sewing on loose buttons funds my bad costume habits. I edit other people's podcasts. They send me the audio file and I make edits, slap on the intro and outro that we previously agreed on, and either send it back to them or post it up on their site. It's pretty easy, but I know a lot of people who want to create audio, but don't have the time or knowledge to do the edits. I just have them send me the timestamps on what they want edited out, and clean up the audio by doing some processing and vocal leveling. Got into it when an old intern of mine, I work in radio, was making a podcast that my wife really enjoyed. Unfortunately the audio quality was terrible. My wife asked me if I could do anything, so I checked it out, cleaned up one of the episodes really quick, and sent it to the podcaster. She asked me if she could hire me instead of the person she was paying, and I was like, wait, you paid someone for that quality? Yes, let me do this, good God. What software are you using, if you don't mind me asking? This is something that is in a huge area of interest for me. Adobe Audition. You can get the Creative Commons license for $20 a month, and it's worth it for my job, but the side hustles pay for it. I have used it in my 12 plus years of radio work, and it's hands down my favorite. I work in live audio, and I know my way around a digital audio workstation. I was also hosting a podcast and editing it at a point. I found it time consuming. How long are the episodes? Do you listen to the whole thing or just mix it? I have a sheet that details it for clients, but I won't listen to other people's podcasts. I'll let them know they need to give me the timestamps and some details. Edit 1:15 to 2:37 out, come back with and so forth. I tried to do editing, where people wanted the coughs, the us and ahs out, and I was fine with it for a while, but it did get to be too time consuming. But hey, they were willing to pay by the hour on it. Actual work just got a little bit too much for me, so I had to pass on that opportunity. I do people's taxes during the tax season, can make over a few grand. Charge most people around $150 cash during my winter break and spring break. Literally buy the software for a few $100s and make it back in little time. I'm not an accountant, but people think I'm a tax expert. I just read what's on the IRS tax page and then see what is applicable to them. Generally I do other college students who don't wanna do their own on H&R Block for free. In this thread, side hustles are actual hard work and not get rich quick schemes. Wow, you made it to the end. Thank you for watching, you precious little gem, and I hope you enjoyed it. Have a wonderful day, and as usual, remember to stay frosty.